Hello?
Hello, is this Jake?
Yeah, it is. How's
Jake,
it going, man?
Good. This is Dustin Wilmus from KMSU Radio.
I was expecting your call. What's up?
Well, we are just hanging out here. Had some questions for you, if this is a good time.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, first of all, I'll introduce you to my co-host, Ton.
Hey there, how you doing?
How are you doing?
It's good, man. Glad to have you on the line here. If you're ready to go, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, yeah.
I guess we'll start with the big question. What got you started in acting?
Well, actually, it was a little childhood story of my mom went to a drive-in, and she thought I was asleep when I was about 2, and she wanted to see Terminator and Terminator 2, and I woke up during Terminator 2 and wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger when I was little, and she moved out to California, and I was with her, and I begged and I begged and I begged to get into acting, and she finally caved.
Awesome.
When I was about 5.
So you're huge right now, right? You've been already lifting weights, or have you been lifting the weights to try to fulfill the Arnie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, so then you eventually worked in Jingle All the Way with Arnold. Talk to us about that then.
It was an excellent experience, a childhood dream come true, in childhood, which is very odd. Normally you have to wait quite a while for those things. Yeah, it was amazing. It was the first time I think I was ever speechless. I just remember meeting him, and he was everything I'd hoped for when it came to being a nice guy, very sweet to work with, professional, wonderful, just a great guy. So
yeah, it's interesting because we actually had Curtis Armstrong on the show quite a few years ago, who was in that movie, and he said the exact opposite about Schwarzenegger.
Really?
So I don't know if maybe it was just different experiences or maybe something he said. I don't know, but
he always treated me very well. I didn't have a problem with him at all.
It was probably that bodybuilding connection you guys had, right?
Yeah, exactly. From one ripped dude to another, it was very nice, especially at the age of 7.
Yep.
Being the world champion at the time, I was very, very, very excited to work with him.
Yeah, we love that film, and I know Sinbad and Phil Hartman were awesome in that, and we're here in Minnesota where it was filmed. Do you have any kind of favorite memories or experiences on set?
I remember a little bit of filming outside, reindeer and stuff like that, and just being appalled that they were going to feed the reindeer beer, but it was like apple juice. I have some friends in Minnesota, and we stayed at their house, and I got to play what was that blockbuster ball thing? I don't remember what the hell that thing's called, but it's some game. It was whatever. It was a really old game where you bounce brick something.
Are you talking like on Atari or something, or brick?
No, it was on the PC. It came with the PC, and I remember being so excited when we got our first PCF for the movie, and it came with that game, and I was looking forward to it. Like, it's the one thing I was looking forward to about a PC, that it just doesn't make sense to look forward to like a free game on a PC when they were so ridiculously expensive and useless at the time.
Playing Breakout, awesome.
Yes, exactly. That's the game. So, sorry.
So then, can you talk to us about, kind of what happened between Jingle All the Way and then ending up playing the part of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars? That was a pretty big deal, huh?
Yeah, that was a long process, actually. I was auditioning for that for Jingle All the Way. I auditioned for that for 2 years before I went to the screen test, and I finally got to go to Skywalker Ranch, which was amazing. It's just ridiculous. 2,400 acres of pure awesome. So we got to go up there. We visited that whole and did the screen test, and it was a hell of an experience, especially when getting the part. And the story, when they told me that I'd gotten it, we were in like South Central, and my mother kept getting paged. And she was like, "There's no chance in hell I'm stopping over here." And we'd have to we'd have to use a payphone, and she was just like, I'm not stopping over here. She kept getting paid. Finally, she did, and they're like, you have to go to the office right now, and she's like, no, okay, fine. And I get there, and they just they asked me how I'd like to spend some time in London. At first, I was like, that sounds all right. And they're like, you got the part. And I was like, oh, cool. I had no idea what other hoops they were going to jump us through, like what other sort of things they're going to do, like what other things we get to do over the screen test. I was expected for a much longer haul.
So it sounds like you knew quite a bit about the films before you got the part, kind of what that meant to people.
Yeah. The original is still some of my favorite movies, but the first three, when I was 5, I dressed up like Darth Vader and for Halloween, and when I was, my mom finally it was right before the re-release. We got to go to the re-release of A New Hope, which is pretty cool, and we got to do a lot of neat stuff with that. But yeah, it was. I've always been a big. Oddly enough, I get a lot of credit as not a Star Wars fan, and I just think it's more, from my perspective, it's more or less I just don't like watching myself in my own movie anymore. I've seen it like 25 times. Sure. I had to go to a whole bunch of premieres and had to watch it with family over and over and over again. And it's a great movie, but 25 times in like the span of a year is quite a bit. So that's about all I hold. That's about the only thing I can hold against the series.
Well, what did you think about some of the backlash that film received? You know, most of the hardcore fans had a problem with the kind of Jar Binks character and the comedic stuff. Did you have any thoughts on that when it happened?
Yeah, I loved Jar when it came out. You know, and not enough people will give Ahmed Best really good credit for the other stuff he's done. They found him in Stomp, which Stomp's awesome. I missed that, and it was a really good show. And he's very talented. He's a human jukebox. He's really awesome. So I miss him, and then I got to see him actually in New York a little while ago, and he's doing well with some of his side projects now, and it's nice to see because I feel it's not exactly fair for a bunch of now that it's sold to Disney, it's really easy to say a bunch of 30-year-olds are looking at a kids movie expecting Jar to be very much relatable to them.
Yeah, when it comes to something like Star Wars, it seems the fans are so invested in that franchise that you're not going to be able to please all of them, obviously.
You know, and to be fair, I draw a lot of my philosophy and stuff from Star Wars, my personal philosophy from the originals, just like a lot of the fans do. And I have a lot of fun relating to them on that, but it's just as a film student and as an editor, I can't take any. I just learned not to take any series, any movie that seriously. You know, not just because it's. I know what it takes to put into the movie in order for it to get made, and when it all comes down to it, we're lucky that we have films anyways. With all the things that can go wrong in the set day-to-day.
Yeah, and I know you do a lot of the conventions and that sort of thing, so those fans that are just, they live and breathe Star Wars, does that ever kind of freak you out a bit? Or?
Well, I'll tell you, when I first got the role and it was announced, we were not prepared for it. We had people camped out on our front lawn, our name was in the phone book, stuff like that. So it was very paranoia-inducing. And I almost got kidnapped by a friend's family, which was very entertaining. But it's just, they did freak me out at one point, but actually now, as a lot of this calmed down, you know, the new movies are coming out, so they've got something else to focus on as opposed to Jar. It's particularly nice to talk to fans, because I am a fan of the originals, like I said, and I hate having to be standoffish or even remotely what is the word I'm looking for? Vaguely paranoid about fans being weird or being odd, and they're not. The vast majority of them are great. And a lot of my friends now are actually fans because I opened up my Steam account and my my Facebook page, my Facebook personal profile fans, and I talk to them all the time. It's not that big of a deal. It's just they were at one time a little bit more festive.
Sure. Well, you mentioned earlier about Disney buying the rights to Star Wars. From a fan's perspective, do you see that as being a bad thing? Do you kind of turn into one of those haters of Jar Jar in that sense, where maybe you're worried about what they're going to do with it?
I'm not worried about what they're going to do with it. I think that it's in good hands, but I as a fan, I'm just looking forward to it coming out. I never thought it would get made, to be quite honest. So I'm just excited that we'll have movies to show and then eventually get remade, as it seems to be the trend nowadays.
Well, we noticed that you kind of stopped acting there for quite a while. I don't know if you're back into it now, or is there a story behind why you decided to get out of that?
Yeah, actually, it's a really quick story. I was a kid and I had to go to school.
Okay.
So I stopped acting after Madison because I wanted to, live a relatively quiet life, and I could. So we moved out to Indiana, and I've been living here since, and I'm pacing around the backyard of my house, actually. So we've been living here ever since, and I've just been quiet. There's some film work that comes my way here. I work as a PA on sets from time to time, or I mainly do editing for some of the local production companies, and one of the other editors who's particularly fun here. I usually assist him, or that's basically all I do. And I ventured out into writing, and I'm writing a book now, which is silly, but I just have fun with it.
Well, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Well, it's good to know that you obviously sound like everything went well. You didn't turn into one of those child actors that kind of goes nutsoid, that happens.
Well, I did like Bieber when he first came out. I'm just kidding. Yeah, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
So is there any plans for any other upcoming projects? I know you mentioned you're writing a book. Is there anything else you have in the works?
Well, I'm actually I took a few years off of doing conventions, and I might start doing that again, which is nice. I like the travel, and I like the people, so it's not that bad. But the book is fun. The book is a lot of fun. It's more of a journal. We've had terrible family issues and interpersonal issues for like the last, 10 months. So I started writing it all out and then reflecting on everything else. And it's been fun. So
cool. When can we expect to see that?
I have no idea. I don't even know if I'll publish it for sure. Just for doing it for shits and giggles at the moment, sir.
Gotcha.
So, but it is a lot of fun. I've actually one of my friends, Brian, is a huge Star Wars fan. He dresses up like Darth Vader and goes out to conventions every time. And I met him at a convention, and he's a really great guy. Other than that, and he's been coming at it from a fan's perspective and trying to get me to write more about stuff that happened during the shooting and stuff like that, and that's been helpful. So that's been fun to reflect on.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I mean, it's not every day that somebody can be Arnold Schwarzenegger's son and then also be Darth Vader. So that's
yeah, it's quite the lineage of going from having the daddy to being the daddy.
That's awesome. Well, it's been great having you on, Jake. Is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
No, I just hope that everyone has a happy April Fool's Day. And I'm glad you guys didn't punk me. I totally expected you guys to punk me when you were like, yeah, let's do it on April 1st. I was like, okay, fine. That's cool. I mean,
we're too professional for that.
Oh, yes.
As you can tell, yeah.
Yes, I can. That's pretty solid. Way to give yourself a shout out. I've been doing it the entire interview, so I just thought I'd tease you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right. Thanks a lot, Jake.
No problem. Thank you, guys. And again, have a nice day. Take it easy.
All right. You as well. It's been great talking to you.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.